All right, everyone, and welcome to the show. I hope everyone is prepared for a fun Saturday. As I told you guys earlier, Fernando had a family day scheduled today, so I just so happened we had a special guest that wanted to come on and talk to us. And it's a topic that I know you guys are all about, which is learning, which is MECP. So we have Kris Bulla from MECP here today. We're going to talk to him for the first half hour about MECP. He's going to tell us about new features and old features. And if you guys have any questions or anything like that about it, we'll be able to get to those, as well as towards the end of the show. He also happens to have a really big title at SONY Car Stereo. So he can tell us all about that and answer some of those questions, because I know you guys have questions about that. So I'm just going to bring him in so we don't waste a bunch of time. Good day, Kris.
How you guys doing?
Welcome to the show. I'm going to pull that up here on top, and I'm going to get over here. So first off, welcome. This is the first time you've made it onto the show.
It's the first time I've been worthy enough to get on the show, right?
Yeah, because it was really hard. You just had to call and ask.
I know, exactly. I had to know a guy and leave a double bag of cash somewhere. Yep, that's cool.
Yeah, it was rough. It actually worked out perfect, because it was like Fernando's like, "Hey, since Kris is good, yes, you can leave. You can leave." So
it's cool. Yeah, you brought in the B team. That's cool. I mean, that's awesome.
Total B team. I settled. I get it. Yeah,
I appreciate you settling.
Yeah. But so today, so we reported on it yesterday on the news in the morning. There was some new movement in MECP that was really neat. We didn't go too deep into it because I knew I was going to have you on here today, and it's much easier to let you do the talking and kind of bring it in. I'm going to give a couple shout outs here real quick, just to Ohio.
Oh, yeah. Go blue, man. Come on. Don't do that to me right out of the gate. Come on, man.
So off camera, we was talking about a Michigan game today. And so, we're both from Michigan, but Paul, the owner here, is also from Ohio. So even though I'm not as deep into it as you are, like as in I'm not at all, everyone kind of knows that, he loves to come over here and go, "Hey, it's the Ohio-Michigan game today, and we're going to win, of course." And I go, "I don't care. Your football team sucks."
Kids, okay.
Right? Yeah. So, but anyways, so let's dig deep. Let's back it up just a little bit. As far as, let's talk about MECP for those of the crew that don't have any idea what MECP is, and just kind of walk through that just for a couple few.
Yeah, sure. So MECP is, of course, the Mobile Electronics Certified Professionals Program, and that's a mouthful. But what it really kind of hovers around doing is providing content in the form of our online learning courses, and it does have associated certification exams that users can take and show off their certification once it's accomplished. So I know you've had a little bit of experience kind of bouncing through the course, Dean, and still waiting to see that certification come through. But everything's online, so it's actually let's back up just a hair and probably bring people up to speed a little bit on kind of the changes that have happened since early 2021. So in the past, it was super difficult to kind of get certified, if you will. You had to read some really, really thick books that probably.
I left mine at home on purpose.
Doesn't look like I have any. Sitting around on the desk here, but yeah, I mean the books were.
It was a phone book,
half thick. I mean, they were really big, and you couldn't carry them around very easily with you, and it was a pain trying to get through them and all that stuff. So we removed all that. Everything's online now, so it's actually really cool. Everything's been rewritten and updated. So what we did is we chopped all that information up into little bite-sized morsels, and so this new online kind of learning platform kind of chops it up into a much easier to digest format for anybody that's online and kind of going through the course. And then at the end of that course, you're presented with that certification exam. So in the MECP courses, you've got 3 chances to pass that online exam. So it's actually a huge improvement over the past, where somebody would, in the old days, kind of go and take the exam somewhere and fail, and then wonder how they failed, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And wonder what they missed, and you were kind of stuck, with just having to kind of take it again at some point. And some people wouldn't. That's part of the design behind this, having three chances to get in there and get certified, right? Because we don't want people to be frustrated with learning. I think that's
no,
probably the biggest turnoff to learning is failing, right? And we
for
want
sure.
people to succeed. We want people to have plenty of kind of motivation to get after it. And I think we've done a pretty good job with that. We've got just a hair under 4,000 people that are active in the system right now as we speak. So there's a lot of people that have kind of taken a liking to this. So yeah, really cool stuff, man. So with kind of the change in the learning format and platform, was we actually added quite a few tools on our website to use. So you've got the website showing on the screen there. Let me bounce over there. First and foremost was we added some legitimacy to the program. So with this, what we're able to do is you're able to look up anybody's certification within the industry, right? So you're going to see two accounts for me. One is my testing account here, of course, and of course you've got Sarah's. You guys know Sarah pretty well. She runs our booth at our big trade show events. But
Yes, I prefer her way more than I
she
prefer
is
you.
way cooler, way better looking than I am. But she listen. Here's the fun part, right? So I didn't tell her to get certified. She felt it was important that if she's going to be, handling the booth and all the activities and
Oh yeah,
taking people through the whole sales pitch in the booth, that she should be walking the walk, right? So it's really awesome. She's my rock star wife. She has a full-time job outside the industry, and we've got three kids, right? So she is full-time busy, but she had the time to get certified to help the effort and to, like I say, walk the walk. So oftentimes one of the excuses I hear with not getting certified is, oh, I don't have the time to do it. Sure. Right.
well, I can say this. When I read the whole so we shot a video on this a while ago, back in like 2012,
Yep.
and I signed up for the class so I could at least get the experience to talk to it in the video. And then when I traveled, I was on a 10-hour, 12-hour to 100-hour flight from here to the other side of the world. And that's what I did in the airports, was just sit there and read the exam, or read the precursor to the exam.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I landed before it was time to take the test, so I just continued out the airport.
And out of certification.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But no, that was how easy it was. In there again, I like had a 2-hour layover, I had a 4-hour layover, and so what I would do is, while I was just sitting there, I would open it up real quick. It would be right where I left off.
Yep.
I continue on, and so it was nice, and it kept me awake.
Way easier to do it that way than to
Oh
carry
yeah,
around
for
a
sure.
book, right? Because you would not have carried a book on that trip.
No,
assuming.
and what I liked about it was it gave you little bite-sized morsels. That's what was great about the airport, because it was like, while I'm standing in line with my bags waiting to get on the plane, it was just like, okay, answered another question, and it would. We all love progress bars.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So through the whole process, there's accomplishment, reward. You're like, hey, good job. All right, moving on to the next one. It isn't just like chapter 12. Oh God.
Well, so like I say, you can verify anybody and really whatever they've got, right? So here you'll see that way back in the dark ages, I did earn MEA's Sales Rep of the Year award. But if you look up other people, let's look up Dan Bowman from Titan Motoring. He's a guy who's a product specialist in their facility, and he got the Sales Pro of the Year award in 23. So we not only have our MECP certifications listed, but for a lot of people, we have the MEA awards. And if you don't see yours, you can certainly reach out to us or go in your profile and request that. But then we've also got some people who are outside of kind of that MEA world, but they, Steve Teresi over at JL Audio
Oh,
is a subject matter expert for our team, but he's also, of course, factory certified at JL, and of course, he helped write and helps run the Max and Tune certifications. So we've got guys around the industry that have earned one of those JL certifications. They're
oh,
also,
very cool.
MECP certified people. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff, man. Like, we want this to be a portal not just for MECP, but for any of your awards and accolades that you've collected, right? So it's actually really cool, right? So then
Hmm.
on top of the personal, kind of verification that we have, we've also got this under this vehicle owners tab, you'll see a find a certified tech or specialist. You can also see that on the verification tab there as well. But either way you get to it, you get to the same page here, and this will pull up a kind of a technician finder, the locator tool. So this is kind of layer number 2, right? So you've got the personal kind of aspect where you get certified and you can kind of show off your accolades and get verified there. Now we want you to link yourself to a store or a location, right? So this is where it becomes pretty important. So look up your address. This just pulled up mine here in Nashville. And of course, it brings back a bunch of good shops here locally to me. Cartronics is the first one in line. So let's go ahead and view their profile here. That's really cool because as a consumer or somebody who's not in the industry, you can look up somebody or look up a location that, it's local to you that does have certified personnel on staff. So here in Nashville, you see Cartronics is that first option there. You'll see a few people that they have on staff there. And you'll see, of course, one of those guys, Terrence here, did have the Customer Choice Installer of the Year award and a Top 12 installer, in the industry award for 23. So really
Nice.
cool stuff. But let's go back to that address search and let's show off something else that's pretty cool. If you scroll down here to Titan Motoring, they're right in my backyard. And we've got a good team picture of theirs. All of course, their contact information here. But we also show off all the accolades that the store has gotten as well. So this one's actually a really cool one to show off. They're an MEA preferred retail member. And then look at all of the awards that this facility has won since about 2018 when they started that pursuit of getting those awards, right? So this is kind of cool to show off. I think this is, in fact, Phil at Titan actually uses this when he's got somebody that's like, hemming and hawing on doing
No,
a big job.
Phil?
Listen, man, they've got a really cool facility. They've got a really cool team, but
Yes.
they also have the price tag to match, right? So they'll run into a customer occasionally that's like, okay, I mean, like, I get it. You guys are awesome. You've checked every box on just kind of impressing me with the facility and the team and all that stuff. But maybe I want to look around. Can you recommend anybody else? Is there anybody else in the area that can kind of do this job, maybe on a budget? So Phil actually shares the MECP locator website with them, right?
Yeah.
And so you'll go back to that address search and you can find other people in the area, certainly, that can do it, right? But if you compare maybe a Cartronics or any of the other guys in the area that are not as credentialed as they are, this is certainly a benefit, in their favor. Okay. So it's a pretty cool tactic to use, in Phil's case anyway, because he's got quite the team that supports him. But besides the awards, that's a big one for them. They've got the awards, but they also have quite the staff to represent them inside the bay and on the sales floor, right? So they've got quite a few MECP members that are certified on their staff, right? So really cool stuff there. So that's kind of the second layer. So you've got the personal aspect where you're trying to get certified, and you want to be able to have that kind of checkbox when somebody's looking up, your name within the industry. That's layer 1. Layer 2 is getting linked to that location. So now your customers or anybody who's looking for a shop in that area can try to find you, right? So that's layer 2. And then layer 3 is this, and this is probably the most important part. For not only consumers and people not already in the industry, but also for our people within the industry alike, right? So let's go to this new career finders. So this is what we announced earlier this week. But if you click on that, this brings up a really cool page where, as an employer, you can actually look for an employee. So you can actually click this link right here and submit a job. So you can see it pops up a really easy to fill out form. It asks for all the specifications about that particular opportunity, or you can roll down. And if you're looking to maybe get a job in the industry, so there's some classified ad type things. There's Indeed.com, careers.com, but you're probably not going to find something that's, related necessarily to this particular industry. So, we needed something that was a little bit more hyper focused on us and what we do within this world, right? So if you roll down here to this part of the page, of course, we've got a few featured opportunities up top here. Got this snazzy little dude over here to the right. But then we've got these categories. And so you can actually kind of roll down through, see all the different categories of jobs that we have available. And it's not us, it's the retailers who work with us and support the program that are listing these. Let's click on retail technician. That's obviously, the most needed role in the industry. And as you kind of roll over these opportunities, they bounce on the map to kind of see where they are, right? Wow. So you can see quite a few across the country. This is actually worldwide, believe it or not. So if you're watching this, webcast, from somewhere else outside the US, you can certainly dial this down into your country. We don't have a ton of them outside the US yet that are listed. But as those jobs get posted, certainly we cover the whole globe, so really cool stuff to look at.
That brings up another interesting point that we kind of sped over, and that is bilingual.
For sure.
Like our one of the guys in the chats, he's from Portugal.
Okay, cool.
And so obviously he speaks English, but Portuguese might be his first language.
So so MeCP is a global company, right? So, with this whole online kind of portal that we have for the learning side, and of course your online profile, we do absolutely cater to people who maybe English is spoken or understood or is able to be read, but maybe it's not their first language, right? Or they've got the ability to read multiple languages and it's a little easier in another language. So what we did with that was on our website, anywhere on the website, you've got this cool handy drop down here to pick a different language. Of course, we've got Spanish and French that are the most commonly used ones besides English. But if you're able to choose one of those, it will actually reformat the entire website and everything related to it, including the job postings, into Spanish for you. Okay. And the even cooler part is you can swap back and forth at any given time to the other language. So this is certainly machine translation. It's a really good one, but maybe there's a conversational word or phrase that's translated on the website that may not be entirely clear for you in that other language. You can flip back and forth between English and your kind of core competency language and try to see which one makes more sense and roll with that translation. So we do a pretty cool job with that. If you are in this other language and you click this Get Certified tab up here at the top, then all of our, let's go ahead and sign out there so you see your experience. Then all of your website here on the learning portal will certainly translate as well. Okay, so it'll roll right through all the way down to course level and exam level, right? So you're going to get the entire Spanish or French or whatever language you choose experience right from the top. Okay, so and again, you can flip back and forth.
Yeah, cool. I thought that was one of the best features because, hey, it's helpful. It's definitely.
So one of the things, well, not one of the things, the most important thing that I wanted to do with this whole reinvention of the program was remove all barriers that I could to getting the education and the certification. And one of the barriers that did exist out there was kind of that, maybe the tech that really wants to get the certification, but MECP had abandoned like the Spanish courses a long time ago
Yeah.
because back when creating a book and the corresponding exam, I mean, that was quite the effort, right? You had to bring in those language experts. You had to kind of go through and kind of, reshape the content to match all that good stuff, right? And that was an unwieldy task. I mean, it was a big deal. So now with the machine learning on our side, and we're able to kind of take advantage of that, we can do that on the fly, and we support over 52 languages. Okay, so it's really kind of a cool thing. For the first time ever, we have a pretty significant presence in other countries. Australia leads the way right behind Canada.
Oh yeah.
With
Right.
that North American group is big, but Australia's clicking on Canada's heels nonstop, and so that's really a big deal for us. But listen, man, all throughout Europe, we've got a lot of people that are coming on board. Some of the Emma groups, some of those guys that compete over there want to learn a little bit more. Asia Pacific has really kind of come on strong, and we have a ton of people. I know, you mentioned SONY at the top of the hour here, that I am also affiliated with, but the SONY corporate teams for all the regions around the globe are aspiring to be MECP certified as well. So,
That's
that of
cool.
course, tries to put their team right out front, kind of leading that charge with that education. So that's pretty awesome stuff, man. Like we're doing a lot of cool different things here, and we're pretty happy about it. So
Well, and so the new feature to me, this makes it like an online college almost with career placement, which I'm sure that was kind of your thought process behind it.
I think,
That and there's just no place to find a job.
yeah, I mean, so there's a couple layers to it, right? We already have a portal that a lot of people go to get more information about things, right? So certainly the certification is the kind of the driver behind that. But now, we have employers going there to post jobs, right? Would they want to find qualified candidates? And we have people going there to verify whether somebody's certified or not. Well, it makes a lot of sense now just to kind of have a tab on the page that not only gives the employers the opportunity to post a great career opportunity there, and it doesn't even have to be a career like trajectory type job, right? Like someday I'm going to own Kenwood or Sony, right? That doesn't have to be that type of job on there. We've got the
Right.
ability with this new engine that I've built to cater to any type of job. So this could be a regional job. This could be a fleet or a mobile installation job. Maybe it's a kind of a retailer that is not based in a store location. Okay, so maybe they work out of a van and they cover the whole state of Texas, for instance, or they work in a particular region like the Panhandle of Florida. Well, we can kind of carve up the map to properly show where that job opportunity is, right? So lots of really cool flexibility that we built into it. You know me, like I don't want to ever just kind of take a cookie cutter approach to something. I want to make sure that we're kind of thinking about the entire solution for somebody. And I think we did a pretty good job with trying to present, kind of the jobs where they are as they are, and giving people a new tool to kind of search for them.
For sure. For sure. I mean, why not?
Hey, people
I
need
mean,
jobs, right?
I mean, we'd hope so. I mean, this is one of those industries that it's like trying to find someone is just a pain in the butt. You
Well,
know?
yeah, so I could probably talk for a couple hours on just that alone, right? So, here,
Okay.
let me give let me give a couple pro tips, and we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
So if you're an employer looking for somebody, I can tell you with full authority, you could probably do a better job at presenting that opportunity to people, right? And you know, like we get like people filling out the form to do to post a career opportunity, and our form forces you to put in some good information about that career opportunity. When we first started this, and it was before this new kind of reimagined engine on our website to kind of search for one. So we had just a career listing page, and it was the like everybody else has, just kind of a classifieds kind of like scroll and read type thing. It was very unuseful, but the information we got, because we didn't require a lot of that information, was also pretty bad, right? So,
Right.
hey, I need somebody, and they can work here. Well, okay. Well, that's not very attractive to somebody that's actually looking for a job. And I like to think that the people that we want to bring into this industry, I think that they're smarter than we probably give them credit for sometimes. And I think that we can attract some really good talent if we're writing better kind of career opportunity posts, right? So I think people that are good are attracted to good. And I think if you write a better career post, and post it within our kind of platform here, I think you're going to get better candidates applying for it, right? So I think it's not even a chicken or the egg thing, right? If you write better content, if you write better posts about your career opportunities that you have in your kick-ass store, then I think you'll have kick-ass people applying for it, right? I just think
Well,
that's
yeah.
a no-brainer.
Well, yeah, because if we have to beat it out of the employer what they're gonna do for us, then it's not that appealing.
Well,
That's
listen, if people, are inspired to maybe work for you, they want to get on your payroll and start working for you. They don't want to do all the work just trying to get the job, right? And or to try to find out more information about it. And so, if in fact, let's show this real quick.
yes.
We actually show, all the opportunities are available in a category, right? Which is really cool. But you can see kind of a wide variety just within here of how people are presenting their job, right? So if you click on this, you can look and see a pretty good description. Car Toys does a pretty good job with their chain out west about presenting to people. They're telling you what they're looking for in this post. They're talking about the benefits you're going to get. They're linking you to their online job description and their application. They're giving you all the contact information. They're giving you a few pictures about what you're going to see or do or experience in that role. I mean, that's what you need to do when you're trying to find a new employee, right? I mean, so let's if you're trying to post as an employer, if you're trying to post a job, let's make sure you're kind of checking all those boxes. Like, let's make this an enticing thing. And if you're looking for an opportunity in this industry, and listen, you guys have a huge audience, right? So there's certainly people that are watching that are clearly curious about this category, right? They watch you guys talk about cool products and cool ways to install them and all that good stuff all the time. But they may not have a job in the industry, right? Well, here's the opportunity to kind of go search for one, right? And so there might be something near, them in their particular town or their region that's open, and maybe they didn't realize that. So I think it's twofold, right? So the employers have to post something really cool to kind of show that there's an opportunity there. That's step number one. Number two is, why don't you go search for what's available for you? So
Yeah, I like it. I think I like it. I got that. Good job, Kris.
I'm trying, man. That's all I can do is try.
Yeah. So what else do we need to know about MECP?
That we haven't already covered? Shoot, man. I think just going to the website, you can find out quite a bit, right? So you click around. If you click that Get Certified button up at the top, it's going to take you to the courses page, and you're going to see all the available certifications that are available. So even maybe you don't have or don't want a job in the industry, but maybe you're just more curious about some of the content that's required to be certified. Just click on that button, read through one of the course descriptions, and get into that course and see what's up.
And it's
Um,
extremely reasonably priced.
yeah, for sure, man. We're not trying to break anybody's back on the pricing. And we have different layers, right? So if you get in at the apprentice level, which is kind of the beginner course, it tells you all the fundamentals about getting, kind of your feet wet with electronics in a vehicle, right? So that's really cool. And then upgrading over time, to that next level, going from apprentice to skilled, which is kind of where you need to be at if you're in a shop working day to day. Getting that skilled upgrade is only a small charge above that apprentice level that you've already accomplished, right? And then, of course, the expert level at the top, that's where you're kind of, tasked with maybe running a shop or managing other people within a bay or something like that. That's just a small upgrade from there, too. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to kind of and flexible to kind of bounce around and kind of get exactly what you need in terms of certification. But the applicable information that's required for that level's, really cool. I'm sure when you were bouncing around in the course yourself, Dean, that you kind of found a lot of cool stuff that maybe you hadn't thought about recently, or maybe that
Oh
kind
yeah.
of, just kind of refreshed your memory on some things, right? You
Well,
know.
of course. I mean, that's what makes it interesting. I mean, and that's if a lot of the guys in the comments would pop $100 and just dig into this, some of the questions they ask me, they wouldn't have to ask me. I mean, bummer, but yeah, it's definitely a an asset to have, whether you're looking to do it or not, as far as on a professional basis. But um, yeah, well, so as promised, we're kind of at the halfway mark. Do you want to take some questions pertaining to car audio?
Yeah, for sure. Right. I
All
mean,
right.
listen, I'm always down to help people out, regardless of what they've got on their mind, right? So, MECP, of course, I'd love to answer questions on, but anything kind of car audio related or Sony related, I'm happy to help, man. You know.
That's so if you guys want to get some questions in the background there. Um, Car Gift says promo code 5-star.
Right on. Yeah.
um, so we were talking earlier. Hold on, we were talking, you and I, when we were talking about this, about Master Tech Expo.
Hmm.
And obviously Sony's going to be there. And I had come up with the idea that'd be really cool, because we do the Clean Wire Challenge,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
we DJ Dean is in the house, and I tend to give out a lot of fun and exciting information, as well as prizes. And so
Yep.
this year I pitched the idea to you of actually asking MECP questions, and then giving away prizes and stuff like that for the guys that can answer them and whatnot. So I was pretty excited that you agreed to that. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, good. He went for
Mm-hmm. Sucker. No. Listen, man, so we do offer promo codes from time to time. One of the kind of the almost exclusive ways we do that is at trade events, right? And the
it.
reason, kind of the core, principle behind that is this: if you are attending a trade event, whether it's a Knowledge Fest or Master Tech Expo, whatever it is, then you're clearly inspired to learn, right? And it may not be directly to get certified with that education, but
Yeah.
you've taken the time or the money or the energy or whatever it was and applied that to getting better at your craft, kind of refining your craft. And therefore, we always reward people at those events with some sort of promo code. And usually they're pretty big at those trade events. So we'll usually give people like a $20 off or 20% off coupon code at those events, so that's pretty cool.
I know this was going to get asked, and this is always a fun one. So Kicker came out with their Gold Series. When is Sony going to bring back the Explodes? But that's under the assumption that it actually left, because technically it's never left.
Yeah. So fun fact for the crowd here. Okay. So in North America, so US and Canada, we do not use the Explode name on any product. However, the rest of the globe still has Sony Explode available. Okay.
Yeah, because when I was in Europe, they had the Sony booth, and they were in the car, and I was like, "Where'd you guys find these?" And they're like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah, it's interesting. In fact, over in Asia, in their trade show, you have to walk through a big X to get in the booth. So Explode is still very popular around the rest of the planet, but not here in the U.S. and Canada. We will not bring it back, and it's just not a no-go, right?
You guys are gonna have to start a petition or something if you're dying to have it back that much.
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen, man. I can tell you that.
Is Sony backing out of the single DIN deck business?
I think backing out is a very strange way of putting that, but thanks for the question. 25 Hertz to Life. Listen, there are so few applications left for people and vehicles that just want a single DIN deck that it is certainly a microscopic portion of our business. What you have left in our lineup, and we do have a few of them, both with CD and mechless. What you see is what you get. We're not going to develop any new ones. But the ones that are here will be around for a little while. So kind of scoop them up while you can. They'll probably be here for at least the next couple of years, but we're not going to develop any new technology on that front. There's just
I'm with you on that. It just makes absolutely no sense. This one is all right. So this is the high res question. I knew it there again. This is one of those fun high res questions. So let's talk. They're talking about the 9500 ES because, of course, they do. I don't know. What do you got on high res, man?
Yeah. So high res is that thing that's out there that everybody wants, but there's really kind of a science to try to obtain it in a vehicle, right? So there's a couple layers to that. You need the head unit that can, actually process it and use it, right? Or allow it in. And we do have that capability with actually a lot of our units. We will play high res files, through quite a few of our head units, not all at the full high resolution that the file may or may not be at. That's kind of held to our older RSX GS9 for those that are still floating around, and our XAV 9000 ES and 9500 ES. The 9000, of course, is that smaller 7-inch version of that 9500 that was introduced a couple of years ago.
Yeah, so, I mean, they're just concerned with the 9500.
Yeah, so the 9500 is pretty awesome. It'll play any high-res file that's out there, full resolution all the way through. But here's the problem, right? So with high-res, you need the high-res files, okay, first, if you want true high-res. So those have to be on some sort of thumb drive or hard drive that you plug into the unit directly through that USB-C port on the 9500, okay. Right? So that's really the best possible way to get high res. It does support LDAC through Bluetooth, but in some of my Sony trainings, we talk a lot about kind of LDAC and the limitations and kind of the stipulations that you have to have, met to be able to get that out of it, right? So that's a little complicated, but the best way for any high-res music to get into a radio whether it's Sony or not. Alpine, of course, and Kenwood, and even Pioneer at some levels support high res playback through their devices. The best way to get it in there is to go through USB. It's always the best method.
There
If you are playing CarPlay, or if you're trying to use an app through any of those CarPlay or Android Auto options, CarPlay and Android Auto do not support high-res playback. So it doesn't matter what you subscribe to or been a sucker to get on those apps like Tidal with their MQ class, and Spotify with high res and all that good stuff. If you subscribe to that and you're going through Android Auto or CarPlay, you're not getting a full high res experience. Just know that, okay?
And that's what I was looking for from you.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to spoil the fun for those companies.
Oh,
right?
no.
It is what it is, So
yeah.
CarPlay and Android Auto are both limited to a 48K playback resolution. So I don't really care what file you're playing back through Spotify. I don't care what you paid for it. It doesn't matter. You're just not going to get that high res experience. Now, there are certainly some decks that play a Tidal. I think that's really kind of what it is limited to. Tidal or Spotify, I think both have apps that are native, I think, on Alpine and or Kenwood radios. And if you have that app that's on the radio and not going through Android Auto or CarPlay, then it can play a higher resolution file. So you can take advantage of that on those applicable radios. Sony doesn't offer that, so I don't know much about it, but you'd have to kind of contact their experts on their side to kind of make sure you're getting the best out of that. But yeah, it is what it is,
So I like this question. Back to the MECP, it says, how long does it take to complete a course? Let's look at basic, because I feel that's probably the best springboard would be the first one.
So why don't we pop up our website real quick again,
Yep.
and I will show people how to see that. So if you click that Get Certified button, and if you click Courses, then it will show you all the different courses. And the really cool thing we've done is, you wanted to bring up the apprentice course, which is probably what most people will at least get started with. By the way, pro tip here, even if you want to get up to skilled or expert on those higher level courses, the lower level courses are prerequisite courses. So you do have to do all of them to accomplish those higher levels, just as a heads up. And they are included in that price that you see. Okay. So let's take a look at apprentice here. So it says right here, time to complete approximately 10 to 12 hours. And that includes the exam. Here's the kind of tip though for you. If you have some experience in this industry and you've been in a bay, you've done some work and all that good stuff, and you've got some people around you that know about it, then you can certainly accomplish the course much faster. Okay. The exam at the end is a timed exam, and you can certainly get it done well within that timed window that it offers. So that 10 to 12 hours for somebody who's in the industry that has some experience could be 2 to 4 hours if they kind of know their stuff, right? So if you go back to the courses page, again, if you bounce up to the expert level, you'll see that it is a 16 to 20 hour time span. And certainly that could be much shorter as well, based on your experience. It could be longer too. So that time snapshot that we have on those course pages is the average. Okay. It's not a median, but it is an average for what it takes people to get through that course and any related prerequisite courses with it. Okay. So this does calculate the time needed for the apprentice and skilled levels as well. All right.
Very cool.
Yep.
Very cool. Hey, can't do it without at least one DSP question. I have a Sony head unit. I want to connect the DSP. Do I have to use all preouts, front, rear, sub, into the DSP?
Depends on what you want to get into the DSP for signal, right? So if you don't set any filters or anything like that, and by the way, pro tip, and I think everybody in the industry hopefully would agree with this, don't ever double filter or
Oh,
double process signal. Okay. So don't set crossovers or time alignment on a Sony or other head unit and then run that into a DSP where you're doing the same things. Okay. So
that
just
would be
pro tip
weird.
there. Yep.
That would be
But
so weird.
well, listen, we have tech support questions come in on our tech line all the time where somebody's chasing something. They can't quite
Yeah.
figure out what's going on. And turns out they double filtered or double processed something. And that's a problem. Right.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
don't ever
Yeah.
do that. Just a pro
Nope.
tip for you guys. But so Sony decks just kind of play whatever you want out of those preouts, right? So if you want a stereo signal, you'll have to have a left and right. And if you want fader, you'll want front and rear and left and right. So you'll run your 4 channels in. And if you need a sub bass or some sort of other, kind of lower level inputs coming into that DSP, then you'll need those as well. You can get your sub through your front, rear, left, and right. So it's not really necessary unless you're looking for some sort of subwoofer level control from the head unit. But again, don't double process or double control things, right? So,
No, very good.
yep.
Is the exam always the same, or is it change over time?
Great question. Every
Now you're going to give him a
exam.
big head because Christian's already got a big head. So, but okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Christian. I appreciate the question. So, no, in fact, almost nobody ever will get the same exam through MECP. So, even just at the apprentice level, we have a bucket of about 400 questions that are used for that exam.
Really?
And every person who goes into that exam gets a new scoop of, like 80 questions out of that bucket. On top of that, the questions for the exam, they're pulled based on the amount of time you spent in certain parts of that course. And if you did answer some of the kind of preparation questions throughout those little bite-sized nuggets that you're going through, it will kind of look at the kind of the rate you went through those and your accuracy at answering those the first time, and it will pull corresponding questions to make sure you know that content if you didn't do well on those sections. So no, nobody will ever get the same one. It's a 1.16 million, 1 out of 1.16 million possibility of getting the same exact exam.
What's the possibility of Sony coming out with a standalone DSP and ES line? Don't answer that.
Don't answer. With the other DSP question, I knew that one was coming, right? So
yeah. Hey man.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We're always working on cool new product to help fill either holes in our lineup or holes in the industry.
So let's talk about holes in the industry for a moment, because you guys just launched new ES series amplifiers this year. Mm-hmm. ES, of course, has been slowly but surely over the last 3 years, right? Last 3 years,
yeah,
has been growing, and I've finally taken a lot of interest in it in this most recent release of product. I think we actually just became a Sony ES dealer because of it, because I was like, it's now time to get. Now it's time for us to come to the party to have what I want. So you guys came out with 2 new amplifiers this year.
Yeah, 6 and 8 channel. Yep.
Now, one of the unique features about your amplifiers, and this is something we actually just did a video on earlier this week when we were talking about passive and active crossover types. You guys put bandpass and 10-time multiplier switches and all that fun stuff on these amplifiers, correct?
Yeah, we've got the ability to do a bandpass filter on any of the channels of the amplifiers, and we also have some pretty cool inputs and line output settings that you can kind of custom configure, some combining those signals together. So there's a lot of flexibility on those amplifiers for sure. Yep.
What's the power on the 8 and the 6?
So all of our amplifiers are 100 by whatever the channel configuration is. So on the 8 channel, it's
100
100
by
by
8.
8
Oh,
at
very cool.
4 ohm, and it's 165 by 8 at 2 ohm. And you can bridge any pair of channels down to 330 watts at 4 ohm
Holy
RMS.
crap.
Yep, they're pretty powerful.
What's the biggest sub amp you're making?
That's our 1ES on the Mobile ES series, and that's 600 watts at 4 ohm, 1,000 watts at 2 ohm.
There you go. So that's what you're looking at for that one. Yeah, when you guys released the 8 and the 6 channel, I was like, oh, okay. Now, because that, a lot of the times that's where we see the hole, because we'll do, like, if we're doing iData integration, with let's say DSR1 style integration, I just need power at that point, and it's like trying to find a multi-channel amplifier that it's so annoying.
Listen, man, one of the things that we kind of really forced our engineers to do when we were designing the new Mobile ES amplifiers was to bring the power, right? And Sony's really good at designing product, and we've got some great engineers on our staff. However, it was so important to bring power with amplification, right? Because that's the whole point of it. And doesn't really do much good to make a really cool amp with some cool features on it if you're not bringing kind of the hammer with it, right? So that 100 by 4 on that 4 channel, and of course on the 5 channel as well, was the minimum that we're going to take out of that, right? From the engineering side. And so kind of forcing them to bring the power to the party was a big deal for us. And sure enough, man, they brought it. So yep.
Come on, man, 35 watts is all you need.
Listen, man, we've got some killer GS amplifiers that are still in the industry, right? And they rock.
Oh, for sure.
Mostly, right?
Yeah.
They just don't have enough power, so.
Do you have to pay for another registration fee once you pass apprenticeship program for some kind of industry recognition? Is it tied to a number of on-the-job hours?
So I think there's a couple questions there, but so an apprentice, it starts at $99 US for that 1 year access and potential certification. By the way, there is an annual renewal. So for those of you guys that don't realize that, so you'll have to renew annually every year. It's much less money to renew that, but to upgrade to another one. So to go from apprentice to skilled is a $30 US upgrade. Okay. And then from skilled to expert is a $40 US upgrade. So just a small incremental upgrade process. And then you only renew at the highest level that you've achieved.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, how often do they have to take their driver's license test again?
Depends on the state, right? But every couple of years, depends on where you're at. Like in Tennessee, I think either for a driver's license or a gun license.
I was joking on the driver's license thing. I mean, right? How often do they have to retake the test?
Yeah. So with MeCP, it's every year, right? So, yep.
So you got to retake a test every year?
Yeah. The renewal test is about half or almost 1/3 of what the actual original certification exam is.
Oh, okay.
Much shorter.
Yeah, and there again, it's different questions because
it's different questions because it's based on the content that was changed or added in that 1 year span, or what you didn't do well on the first exam. So we're always just kind of making sure that you're refining your craft a little bit more,
Oh, that's wow. That makes way too much sense.
Yeah.
What the heck, man? Wow. I didn't realize it was that.
Hey, but Dean, you have to get certified first to have the renewal.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah, we won't even comment on that. I got nothing.
Yep.
I can't make excuses. It's just what it is,
It's all good, man.
It'll happen.
It will.
Well, Kris, believe it or not, that takes us to the hour.
Awesome.
This always goes by so fast, and I want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing this awesome information with the crowd. I hope you guys got something out of this, and thanks for answering some of the questions, even though I know they were. Yeah, I know.
No, dude, it's awesome. Thanks for the opportunity. We love you guys. I think you guys do a rock star job trying to take care of your audience here with giving them some really cool information. Hopefully helped.
Yeah.
So go to mecp.com to get more information. We're happy to answer questions. So if you have a question that we haven't answered here, shoot us an email at mecp@mecp.com. Or you can like our Facebook page. So it's just MECP program, and just search for that and like us. And no problem. We're happy to help any way we can. So I appreciate you. All right.
No, thank you. And I know you got this big trip coming up for the future of SONY. So you have a wonderful, safe time over there in Japan. We'll see it. We'll see you at SEMA.
I won't be there. I won't.
Oh my God!
SEMA. Yeah,
you won't be at SEMA.
I will not be, unfortunately, man. I love that show, but I will not be out there. So too much going on.
Maybe February then in Vegas.
I will certainly see you out there in Vegas at Knowledge Fest.
All right. Well, yeah, we got a busy year next year.
Yeah, every year.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on and spending your time with us. Get back to the football games.
Go Blue.
Go Blue. And you guys, thank you so much for playing with us weekend. That's all we got for you. So as always, thanks. You guys have a wonderful day, and fade to black.
Thanks.